So Christmas is high time for shopping and going out. So of course you have to be vigilant during this time. And it's no different for the tourists looking for warmth this season. Assistant Superintendent Omar Morris of the Resort Area Division in the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch is with us now. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good morning.
to Smile Jamaica. I just want to read something, so I'm just going to go right. It says Jamaica was dragged into the spotlight. This was an article published by a network that documented that over 70 U.S. tourists were raped at some of the country's top resorts between 2011 and 2017. That's a fact as far as you know?
As far as I know, the numbers of sexual offenses are close to the numbers that are quoted in that article. However, when you look at the time period and we compare the number of visitors that have arrived in the island, that is actually a very low number, because over that period we have had close to 20 million visitors coming to the island. So that is actually a very low number.
I don't know if you compare ourselves with anywhere else in the world. Doesn't sound that low to me, to be honest, but how are we when you compare it to the other, say the other Caribbean nations, the other tourist areas in the world?
We are consistent with other tourist destinations. As a matter of fact, you'll be hard-pressed to find locations that have the number of crimes against tourists that we have. As a matter of fact, if we compare our figures for 2017, we had 4.3 million visitors arriving in the island last year, 2017. However, we recorded a total of 81 crimes against foreign nationals, including tourists. So when you calculate the ratio and the percentages, that is actually 0.0002%, which is extremely low. So if we compare ourselves to other destinations, we are right on par, and as a matter of fact, you'll be hard-pressed to find locations across the world that have the number of tourists and visitors that we have and have such low rates.
Okay. So what's the pattern? What's the global pattern, Assistant Soup? And is that the pattern here? Never was talking about it before I went on air. Are the assaults happening because of workers? Is it happening with fellow tourists? Just people off the street? What's the pattern?
Well, we recognize that incidents do involve tourists and tourists. It does involve locals and our visitors as well. So we deal with it on a case-by-case basis. So,
but for the most part, where does it happen?
I would want to say that it is, based upon this year's statistics and last year's statistics, it is actually 50-50 or thereabout.
50-50 tourists and tourists, local and tourists?
Yes.
We had a huge story recently with this worker that got himself in some problems, and apparently he was wanted in another area. You have a resort division. I didn't know that. There's a police resort division.
Areas division. Correct.
Resort areas division. That's different kind of police, or is this the regular police that deals with the tourist areas?
It is some amount of specialization in terms of function and response. In policing, you have to have general policing, however, you have to target it according to needs. So for instance, predatory larceny, you target policing to that. Tourism needs, you target policing to that. And that's actually a global trend that has occurred over years, where police officers are specially trained and specially focused on tourism activities and the needs of visitors.
You said resort areas, which mean you cover like Ocho Rios and Montego Bay and...
Yes, we cover 7 resort areas. So all the main resort areas are covered by the Resort Areas Division, and officers working in tandem with geographic divisions. So we work alongside the general police in terms of providing support, also with other specialists such as our Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse. So we work closely with those entities and other stakeholders and our international counterparts.
What's the procedure? If something happens, because a lot of what's coming out of the article, there are a lot of allegations that things happen, they are not able to directly make a report to the police, or they try to make a report, and it seems as if it's unclear as to what the process is. So walk me through the process.
All right, first and foremost, I must say that a part of the security framework for hotels in Jamaica is that all hotels have to pass certain security standards. And a part of the security standards is that emergency numbers must be placed in all rooms, and all visitors must have access to communication device and methods of communicating directly with the police.
Okay.
And we have good compliance with that. So a tourist in a room, if they are not interested in speaking to the hotel staff, many tourists and many hotels have a facility where they can contact the police directly through our 119 number, and also the closest police station, we normally have those numbers. So there is opportunities to make direct contact.
Okay.
Also, persons will relate, or tourists will also relate incidents to the hotel staff because they are close, and we also have a working relationship with the hotels, the hotel security managers. We have stakeholder groups, we consult, we operate on-call, personal level to actually treat with these issues and to ensure rapid response.
How many officers would be part of the resort areas division?
At present, we have 211 officers.
To cover 7 areas?
To cover 7 main resort areas.
That's enough?
I'd want to say, of course, with policing, numbers is important. It's always good to have more numbers. But we have sufficiently trained officers, and of course, effectiveness, quality over quantity as well. But of course, more officers will help. But we emphasize the quality of our officers and the training.
Should we be concerned? Should we be concerned? You hear the minister speaking, and obviously you don't want tourist harassment, and you certainly don't want anybody getting hurt and getting killed and stuff. Is there, in your opinion, should we be concerned about what's happening?
I don't think there is a need for concern. As I mentioned, the ratio of incidents is very, very low. And also, as it pertains to sexual offenses, we have a very high clear-up rate. Our Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse are skilled, trained persons that deal with these matters on a one-to-one basis, on an individual basis. And we are able to, in cases that we have reports, and reports coming to us, we have a high clear-up rate of bringing persons to justice. So I wouldn't be concerned as it pertains to these reports, but I must say that every single incident that involves any citizen, any person, can be so significant and impactful to that individual, to the family, to the community, and to the nation at large. So I don't want to discount any individual incident. However, statistically speaking, it is minuscule. But we give all incidents the relevant attention.
Asked a question earlier about whether it was tourist and tourist, local and local, and you said 50-50. Is it the same kind of abuse that goes on with a tourist to a tourist as a local to a tourist? What happens when a tourist to a tourist? Is that rape? Are they robbing people? What are they doing?
We have it mixed across all categories.
Tourists against tourists.
Tourists against tourists. We have larcenies. We have cases, mainly larcenies. We have assaults. We have rapes that have occurred. So we have a mix of violent crime to property crimes. I mean, a tourist coming to the island, they're just a person, and persons will seek opportunities. And also we will have persons who, based upon interactions, will have challenges with each other, and then you have disputes and all of that.
I'm eager to know as well, because there was an incident where they hired a member of staff and then found out that he was in Manchester, the police, he was a person of interest. Is there a way that employees can somehow be screened through the resort police force? Some way of finding out that the people that you are working with are people that are not operating above the law?
Most definitely. There is a way, not only with the resort areas division, but we have various entities or geographic divisions, or our National Intelligence Bureau, also background checks through, I guess, fingerprinting and police certificates. There are methods of actually checking and conducting background checks. Okay. So the short answer is yes.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
And good luck. Be safe, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent Omar Morris of the Resort Areas Division in the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch.
All right, stay with us. We're heading to the kitchen
Oui.
right after this.
Oui.
Yes. Yes.